Namaste, beautiful yogis. Welcome to Ali Kamenova Yoga. I'm Ali, and I've been meaning to create a video on hormones, loosely speaking, or something related to hormones, anything in relation to hormones, and I haven't had the chance. But I also like to speak from experience, and sometimes I like to wait a few years before I talk about an experience I've had, so that I know it's coming from actual experience, not just something I briefly encountered and it worked and maybe it was a fluke. Anyways, I just got an email with a question about that general kind of theme, and we are going to the springs. So I have my bathing suit on. This is the first time I wear this one. I bought it a while ago, and my silk shorts on. They're a little bit too small, but I'm gonna have to get a good use of them. As you know, I transitioned into mostly a natural fiber wardrobe. It was kind of fun, kind of challenging. The most challenging part has been by far the bathing suits. This is not natural. I bought natural ones, but they don't perform well enough for soaking because they need a little bit of elastin. I don't mind if they're cotton with a bit of elastin, but they need a little bit of elastin. Without it, they just sag and droop. The other very challenging part has been yoga clothes. I have nice yoga clothes, but I really appreciated that whole Gymshark seamless trend of leggings because it was so easy to shoot in them. I don't wear them in my personal life. If I have to go to a gym or something, I don't care how my pants fit. I will wear cotton no matter what. But for shooting, I kind of want the crotch to be seamless. I don't want it to be distracting or camel toe or something like this. This just grosses me out when I see it in videos, and I don't want this to happen in mine. And with a lot of natural pants, they're just not cut the right way for it to just be non-distracting. So that has been difficult. I have bought cotton leggings and I'm wearing them. I'm sticking with them. I barely wear any plastic except for the bathing suits. And I do have, I ordered Savannah Merrow bathing suits that are from some seaweed material. So I wear those a lot. Not today, so I will start with an email that I received. This was the intro on my outfit. And I will start with email I received, and after that I'll do a quick answer. So let's read the email. Because it's a thoughtful email, so I figured I will just read it to you. Hi Ali, I hope you're doing really well. I just wanted to say thank you for all that you share. Your approach to movement, wellness, and alignment with the natural rhythms of life has been such an inspiration to me over the years. It's just a thoughtful email. I felt I could do a reply with words, otherwise if I type a reply it won't be maybe as complete. I've especially appreciated the way you speak about hormonal balance and honoring our cycles as women. It really speaks to me now more than ever. Personally, I've been going through some shifts, likely perimenopausal, and it's felt like my body asking for deeper support. I've experienced some rash flare-ups, sleep struggles, and an overall sense of depletion when I try to push through with the same routines. I've been eating clean, mostly plant-based, moving regularly, incorporating things like vitex, red clover, sage, red maca, and making nourishing smoothies with herbs. That sounds delicious. Please share the recipes. But I'm still trying to find a rhythm that truly supports me and feels sustainable. Those are real valid questions, things that when our lifestyle shifts and changes, we have to make certain intuitive shifts with our life. One of my biggest challenges is my night owl schedule. Yes, that would kill everything else on your schedule. Despite knowing how valuable early light exposure and circadian alignment are, and hearing you speak about it so beautifully, I find it really hard to shift my sleep pattern. It's hard for me too, to be honest with you. We always want to stay later and later and later, and then we find ourselves too late, and again I'm like, oh, this doesn't work. because we have a whole, routine at night. It's been a lifelong pattern, and even though I try to get sunlight during the day, I know missing those early hours might be impacting my hormones more than I realize. Per Jack Cruz, yes, I sometimes miss the early hours, and I kind of, not sometimes, lately I've been also a little later. I've been waking up a little later at 9, which is late compared to sunrise or daybreak, dawn. But we have to do better, not perfect, but better is better. I've noticed you've evolved your workouts over the years, and it's amazing to see how you adapted them to support where you're at. It's exactly where I feel I'm too. Sometimes I hesitate to adopt your gentler sessions because I still have a lingering mindset that I need to work it off. To work off what I eat. I'm trying to break out of that old way of thinking and align my workouts with my cycle, lower intensity in the luteal phase, for example, but finding that balance is tough. Lastly, I came across some research suggesting that fasting might not always be ideal during perimenopause, and it's left me wondering if I'm doing myself more harm than good. Also, good question, but seeing how vibrant and grounded you are, if you're still incorporating fasting, makes me think it really can work if done the right way. Anyways, I know this is a long message, but I've wanted to ask for a while. If you ever feel like sharing more about your current eating rhythm, especially in this phase of life, I know it would be deeply appreciated. I'm sure I'm not the only one who would benefit. Thanks again for all you do. Your energy, presence, and are truly uplifting. And I'll try to answer them as thoughtfully as I can, because I do research all these subjects a lot. I started fasting early on, and I used to really fast and just drink maybe coffee and or green tea or something during the day. Nowadays, I incorporate a snack in the day before we leave the house. We typically leave every day. We barely kind of have rest from activities days, but I have a snack. It's not like a elaborate meal. It can be just a preference, maybe, and also a time thing, how much time I can dedicate to it. But like for example, today I made those bars that is blended. I roasted hazelnuts just because it's my kind of favorite flavor from my childhood, kind of chocolate with roasted hazelnuts. It's something, Europeans know that. I roasted hazelnuts. I blended them with sprouted oats. There is a brand here with sprouted oats. It can be any oats. And then I added peanut butter. I blended soaked dates. Some of those recipes sometimes call for maple syrup, and you could definitely do honey or maple syrup. I wanted to do ground up dates. I had dates. I soaked them and grounded them. I've shared certain recipes like this. I go on and off of them. Sometimes I get very sick of a sweet flavor, and I would just have peanut butter or something like a snack during the day. Anyways, so that sometimes I add protein powder. This time I didn't. I added coconut flour to this. I like the flavor of coconut flour, and I have cocoa. I've quit coffee completely. Maybe twice a month I have a matcha, out of having the matcha here in the house, and I see someone on Instagram talking about the benefits of ceremonial matcha, and I have matcha. I was like, oh, I should make a matcha. It doesn't seem to throw me off, so twice a month I have it. It's okay, I don't crave it anymore. But I put coconut butter. I have a frother. I put coconut butter straight into the frother, cacao powder, horseshoe wool, reishi. I lately started with maca. I wasn't not sure about maca because I felt like it's gonna give me insomnia, and it hasn't. Maca, and I have a few of those cocos, like 3, 4, because in the morning I like to do cocos, and sometimes lately I've started doing a tea with salt. All right, so I drink a few of those, and that is not fasting technically, even though it's just mostly fat. But I use coconut manna. which I think it's probably carb free. I don't care about those things. I don't follow calories. I have not weighed myself since we moved. So that's about 4 years. Before I used to, because I had the scale in the bathroom. And to me, a scale is not triggering. I don't care. It's information. Since we moved, the scale is in Johnny's office, and it's near the cat litter. And I'm a baby like that. I will not go in there. He's responsible for the cat litter at the moment. So I would much rather be away from the cat litter. So I have not weighed myself, I think, once. Honestly, I probably should, just to see if anything has changed, because it's just in general muscle density, bone density, etc. It's also recorded by the scale, and it's good to kind of have a base value. Anyways, I don't count calories. I don't often count nutrients unless I dramatically change my diet and have time on my hands, which I don't typically have time. Anyways, so in the morning I have my cocoa. Somewhere around noon or at 1, I have a snack. It can be anything from those bars, protein bars or nutty bars or peanut butter bars made with cacao and melted chocolate. I melt 2 bars of chocolate to cover on top of it, usually keto chocolate, and then I add my own sugar. So I prefer my own sugar because it will be either honey or dates or sometimes maple. Or mulberries. I could blend mulberries sometimes. So that's what I had today. And it's really heavy in chocolate. So maybe I'm having a lot of chocolate, but I don't feel it. I cannot have it, and I don't feel withdrawal. So for now, it doesn't bother me. I really enjoy it. It's high in magnesium, iron, etc. Now I use raw cacao, and I check raw cacao classifies as more on the cooling side of our in herbology, and I have noticed that cooling herbs really soothe my system, to where warming herbs can be overstimulating and give me insomnia. I'm a pitta predominantly. I have a very warm digestion, so for me cooling foods work well. That's why I do well on lots of raw foods in the summer diet. I don't do raw as a rule. I do what I crave. I go by my cravings. I typically right now eat from the farm. So I would have, when we come back, so this is gonna be a snack. I would have a snack. It could be the bars. So it's kind of fast. It's not like a super big meal, but it could be caloric. It could be 400, 500 calories. I'm not sure, but it's not super small. Like I will have a good amount of something dense. So I guess you could say that I no longer really fast through the day. I don't have like this, but I also don't get full during the day. So after that, we're out, we go to hot springs, I do saunas, workouts, shooting, classes for Lottie, work, gardening. Gardening is before and after that snack, because especially spring, we always have stuff to do on the farm, and homeschooling, etc. And then when we come home, which typically is late, but I don't have good control over that. I haven't. I would eat dinner, and it's typically 8. That is far from ideal, because they say to eat at daylight. Usually it's not daylight here. That's why I can't even take photos of my dinner, because I do low lighting in the house. So it's kind of yellow and dark, but I've transitioned to really not bright artificial lighting in the house. So artificial lighting is more incandescent, more yellow, more orange, and in the bedrooms even red lights. I should show you a red light to see how cool they are. Maybe after the video I'll take a little picture. Anyways, so that is my routine that works for me now. I have not changed my routine a whole lot. That has been kind of my schedule even during pregnancy. I remember a meal of, at some point, it depends on the season, I had a lunch of mandarins, because it was mandarin season, I remember, and then dinner. Now dinner for me lately it's been very low in protein, just because avocado season, once avocado season starts, you can't convince me to eat other things. I would make a salad or chop up kind of like a dip veggies, and it's cauliflower, broccoli, and lettuce typically. That's mostly the vegetables I would eat. And I will have avocado either in a dip or just chopped up avocado. And that is as simple and boring as it sounds. I usually do either kala namak, salt, hot sauce, mustard, so to spice up my avocado, a Celtic salt. I love hot sauce. I pretty much eat hot sauce every day. I know that hot spices are used in hot climates, so there is something to it. It's heating, but it's also cooling because it induces sweat and it releases heat from the body. So it's one heat I really adore. So that is my diet. It's very simple. I don't recommend it because for everybody, because you really have to feel your cravings. Some people, like in Chinese medicine, they don't recommend raw foods, but I can't find anything that works better for me in summer in a hot climate. If I'm in Bulgaria in winter, I'm going to eat baked pumpkins. I'm gonna eat potatoes, maybe cooked cabbage, etc. Like, I'm not gonna stick to raw. Raw sounds unappealing in winter in a colder climate. I'm not dogmatic in the sense that I'm gonna eat raw because the book says so, or because raw is, popular. Vegan also works for me, but I feel like I'm gonna speak about vegan less and less as time goes forward because it's not popular right now, and I don't want to put my lifestyle out there for criticism. I don't care what people have to say. I never have. I was vegan before it was popular. Not really vegan. Like, we would actually have introduced eggs in Lori's diet because she is picky. She's a picky eater, and I figured I have to introduce something more. She would not eat fish for sure. She's picky. Vegetarianism is a common thing. It's been a common thing. I've been actually digging into the Gospels and the Bible and stuff, and it's kind of biblical, almost like it's per certain Gospels. I have gone into the Gnostic Gospels, which is the Gospels that didn't make it. So it's kind of interesting to see the evolution of spirituality. But that's a different story for a different day. Really interesting, like the spiritual side of things and the historic, like the evolution of thought. We've introduced eggs. I personally am not opposed to eggs. I would eat them. I just don't crave them. We exchange eggs for avocados with friends, and we swap. And Lori will have eggs because she likes them. I will have them, but I'm not particularly drawn to them or at all. If I have avocados, I'll take avocados over tofu, over beans, over chickpeas, over tahini, over cashew dip, etc. So for me, it's just a preference right now because I grow them. But if I didn't grow avocados, I would make dips with tofu and tahini, cashew dip, almond cheese, etc. I would make those things. So that is kind of my diet on the circadian rhythms. I feel so when we moved here, that was now I think 3 years ago already, I felt like my whole system kind of crashed. I couldn't cope with stress the way I normally do. Things would really create like fear and stress in me, like regular life things. I would not be able to cope with things the way I've always have, and that is kind of described as a symptom of menopause. My period started to come way too early, like every 26 days on average, but there was a few that were on the 24th day, which freaked me out because it's not my cycle, it's not my variety. So I know that was like a shortening cycle is kind of a sign of a low progesterone. So I made a bunch of changes. Herbs, calming down, flower essences really did it for me, and that's another video I have to make on. I don't feel like I should fit flower essences into this video, but for me they probably jumped me forward. That was what I needed in order to actually start calming down. I had reasons why I felt so distraught. In general, moving stresses me out. I have to travel every year. It's a roller coaster, emotional. I have to say goodbye to family. It's always extremely emotionally challenging. I don't speak about it because in theory I should be grateful for everything, but it takes a toll on me. I actually, when we go to Bulgaria, every time I experience hair loss, every time my hair grows back. When we come back, we go there, it's just the stress of losing home. I think this is a pattern thinking in my life, something that I have to work through, and I have to relive it every summer. As fun as it is there, which is ironic, but it's also extremely emotionally activating. I mean, it's charging. Anyway, so when we moved, I felt uprooted, ungrounded, kind of removed from home. And also we rented a place with immature cats, with teenage cats. It was not, it was quite prolonged, exhausting. Selling a house was really exhausting. It was just an exhausting move. No routine, no nothing to kind of, no coziness. I'm a home builder. I think one of my Lori's friends' mom, she's Chinese, she said, "Oh, you're sheep." I'm sheep in Chinese horoscope. She said, "Those are home, especially in my side of the year, those are home builders. They like to build a home." So for me, it's very important to feel at home. And as a foreigner, as an immigrant, as someone that travels a lot, it's kind of like one of the challenges of my life. As someone that has everything in their 12th house, I'm kind of bound to be a little bit of a traveler, outsider. So that's a lot of my own. I have to give you a little bit of background. So that felt like it unbalanced my hormones. It was the stress plus maybe a little bit the age, or maybe a lot of the age. Texas also had its own challenges for me, which was the water mostly. Water is very important, and I underestimated how much deposits there were in the water and how many pollutants in our particular water. So it took me a while to detox. That's where I started doing distilled water. It pulled everything out of my kind of system, organs, joints, the distilled water. So I feel everything is back to pre-Texas levels. And I was also having a real dramatic grieving over my youth, over my young self, and just aging. I don't look the same. And it was really like, if I don't have to see myself on camera, I'm just fine. But because I've heard many creators say that when you're aging on camera and you see yourself, it's like a little different from what you see in the mirror. And it's just a constant reminder that time is moving forward. And it was something that I had to sit and grieve. Like, I'm no longer this person. That person is gone. I am becoming someone new, but she's not here yet. And I'm in between. So it was a deep grieving, and I understood it as an important grieving, but it was part of the grieving. We rented a house that was electrically charged. I felt static. I felt charged in there, and I think the people there in that neighborhood were a little bit batshit crazy, because it was a new construction, and I think they didn't ground properly some or all of the houses. I'm assuming some of the houses, ours in particular. We measured it. I felt charged, like I was not myself. I couldn't function the way I typically do. I wasn't in the same control of myself the way I am. I was a different person. So it wasn't purely perimenopause, especially because once I implemented all these changes, my hormones are on really balanced. And I go by how I ovulate, ovulation to menstruation. They're on, like, they're exactly precise. Mild symptoms to no symptoms, moods, etc. Everything is relatively or very balanced. Some exceptions. I mean, I'm not like in some sort of perfection, but it's just really extra. So I feel the biggest change was flower essences to a little bit of herbs. I took herbs that were the right herbs for me. They balance me. Vitex, yes. Some herbal formulas. Remind me to post the formulas below. They're just formulas with donquai, black cohosh, chamomile, and a few other things like that, lemon balm, etc., etc., and a little bit of vitex, of course, and progesterone cream. That also was very balancing, but also for me it was just sunrises and calm routine. I thrive in routine as much as my 12th house does like to flow. I still flow, but I like to have some predictability, some routine, something to a structure that holds me. We all thrive in structure of some sorts, even if it's low structure. Like someone more creative likes a low structure. Someone more Virgo likes a structure that's very pedantic. I don't like that. I'm not that organized, but I like a flowy routine. Anyways, I got that going and everything calmed down for me, and I don't feel perimenopause symptoms anymore. I probably am, but I don't feel those symptoms. As a matter of fact, I feel a little bit fertile. So it's a matter of really working with your symptoms and your routine and your schedule. The early mornings are important. Don't strive for perfection, because that's just kind of canceling yourself. If you can wake up at 7, which is difficult, 5 is difficult, 6 is difficult, 8 is fine, 8:30, 9 is fine. Right now I'm waking up at 9 and sometimes after 9, like 9:30, and it's okay. It's okay. Just slowly eke it back in. I always have to struggle with Lori because we have to read books at night and whatever, and it just keeps getting later and later, and we go swimming late, home late, dinner late. It's just, for me, it's also a bit of a struggle, but I still sunbathe. Look at my tan. Look at that. That's actual tan. Yes, I wake up in the morning, I lay in the sun, etc. I'm building a little bit of melanin. Jack Rose has amazing lectures. Melanin is related to brain health. It's preventative for many diseases, Parkinson's, etc. So it's important to really follow the natural cycles of the earth. Ground yourself. If you wake up late, still put your wet feet on the ground. It has to be wet for conduction. Still look at the sunset, because it's so red. It's anti-inflammatory for the skin. I sit on my red light too every day when I'm reading emails, etc. When I'm reading my research, I like to research spiritual topics. As I mentioned, right now I'm into the Gnostics. I feel like a deep dive will really enlighten me. I know quite a bit of the Gnostic work from, say, Steiner, Ben Sadhuno, but I like to, right now I'm reading some of the Gospels that were discovered. Was there another question you asked? Herbs, you use the herbs. You might have to tweak the herbs, because I, for myself, as a Pitta, noticed that the herbs that are cooling work for me. The herbs that are heating overstimulate me, put me over the top. They are sold as the best herb on earth. You're going to have so much energy. I'll tell you, when I first tried ginseng, I was 21, probably around there, 22. And I was buying those little ginseng glass bottles from the Chinese store. And you, I think, break the top or whatever, had a little straw, and you drink it. And I would have one a day. I think I didn't sleep after I took three days. I didn't sleep for 3 days. I was like, I have taken something off the charts. And yeah, the first day I had great energy. My workout was insane. I mean, I probably was out of this world, out of ridiculous. But then the exhaustion set in, and then I was feeling like, you know, what's another word for pit? It rhymes with pit. So you have to really, like, I've noticed that if I have lemon balm, mints, sages, geraniums, I feel like I'm being hugged. It feels like a hug. Lavender maybe even, and I put, like, I started liking this more like a soupy tea, where I put a big pinch of Celtic salt, and that's it. And I really, really adore it. I also have a lot of lemonade from my tree, from our tree. So when we come from the springs, I make hot lemonade. I like hot cocoa, hot lemonade, hot water, etc. And but the quality of the things I like is thermal quality, not as a temperature, is cooling, like lemon balm, mint, cauliflower, broccoli. Those are cooling herbs. I think avocado classifies as cooling. Oranges, they might be neutral. I know that we have summer and winter oranges, and I would assume that they're a little bit different in temperature depending. The winter oranges will be a little more on the warming side, and the summer oranges will be a little more cooling, because nature is that genius. Anyways, and I'm planting a garden now, so wish me luck with vegetables and watermelons and melons, etc. But we are planting and experimenting and doing a lot. Also, another reason for my crush of maybe hormones or everything was because we took a bite very big, and I was like, oh my god, I don't know if I can farm that much, and I'm still not where I need to be. I need to be making tinctures and creating amazing products that are in my head, herbal products, but because I'm so busy, and you know, it's something that has to come out of, it comes out of inspiration, so I'm taking my time. But there is so much to create from the land, because this land is just captivating. It's amazing. And that is my diet. It's kind of intuitive. It's kind of simple. It's kind of nourishing. Right now, it's very low in protein, just because avocado season. Before that, I was having edamame every day and chickpeas and red beans. But once avocado season, I cannot take anything that is not fresh as our avocados. I've planted a ton rows of fava beans, so I kind of munch on those, and I have them here and there, but not daily. They're high in protein, and you can have them raw, so they're good protein, raw and cooked. Those are the big, huge fava beans. And I've planted more succession seeding, so hopefully I'll have more through the summer. But that's about it. I don't notice, whenever I have lower protein, I don't notice any difference. Once every 2 weeks, I add a protein powder. Last year, I tried every damn protein powder. It was good. I had no negative results from it, but nothing to really make me want to absolutely continue. Everything is the same in my system. It wasn't massive, and it's a processed powder, so I'm like, I don't have it in my life where to add protein powder besides in the bars, because I like to eat the oranges just sliced up raw. I don't blend them. It's just, I crave them as simple as they are, as plain, but they're so rich. So that is my schedule. This turned out to be more update on me than anything I can offer as advice, but I'm coming from my personal experience. I am sure I'm forgetting a whole lot of stuff. 33 minutes, I think. But lower your artificial lighting in the house. It's really disruptive to the system. Get light, not through a window, especially windows after the 80s. Filter the red light out because they're energy saving. So red usually is warming. They say that it will overheat your house. It filters the red light, which is so important to the eye, to everything. So expose yourself to light, to grounding, to less EMF, which is very difficult nowadays unless we make some shifts in humanity. But that's what I'm praying for. Pray. Find the divine connection within. I think the more I studied agnostics, that's kind of the missing stuff in certain organized religions, that the answer is so deep within that it's a spiritual discussion. And I try to not go into veganism or spiritual discussions to a large degree, because the yoga community is very new agey, and I have certain opinions. There is good stuff in New Age, in what's classified as New Age, and certain things are just watered down stuff. And then same applies for a lot of more dogmatic teachings. So there is, as always, the path will be within, and no one is going to write it out for you, because the whole point of this cycle we are in is that it is the inner path, and how you will find that connection within and the guidance within, because this is a personal journey for you. to moving into our next stage as humanity. I'm looking at a pretty blue jay outside, and it's been entertaining me the whole time, hopefully not distracting me. I find that nature distracts me. It pulls me in and I forget about the human stuff. All right, so let me think. That was the question, what I'm eating. That's what I'm eating. It's so simple, it's kind of embarrassing, but I'm honest. It's just oat bars with peanut butter, and it's probably high in fat that it used to be, because it's peanut butter and coconut butter all morning, and oat bars, not all morning, but that's the morning, and my cocoa is all morning, which is with coconut manna in it. I put a teaspoon or whatever, I kind of scoop and put it in the frother, and I froth it, and it becomes not as frothy, but it gives it that creaminess that nut milks do. But I'm avoiding nut milks because of the packaging. It doesn't make sense to buy nut milks. As much fun as they are, it doesn't make sense to buy nut milks. You can make your own though, or some people like raw milk. It doesn't work for me. If I have my own sheep and I know she's treated well, but what do you do with the babies? All in all, I have refined my mind and my body to really prefer plant-based stuff. As unpopular as it is becoming lately, I don't mind the unpopularity of it, because it's always been unpopular since I, discovered it, with the short phase when it became overly popular, and I should have been suspicious. There is a lot of information in the Gnostic stuff. The Gnostics were all vegetarian, by the way. Those are the early Christians from about 1st century to about 5th century, until the canon was created. Those Gnostics were vegetarian. That's literally a video for another subject. I'm not a theologian. I'm not like a professor in theology. So I'm not gonna go into that. It's really interesting. I've really gotten into studying it a lot. It's very interesting. But there is a lot to be said about purifying our minds and bodies and desires and thoughts and etc. And it's work. It's not something that you can just be and be said. We're daily working on it. It's a practice. But for me, milk, it's estrogenic. It's not something I personally need. But some people report that if you have a neighbor you can exchange raw milk with, it makes more sense than those containers. I don't buy the containers anymore. I just recently, for the first time in 6 months, bought one container, and it was like the no-fat Oatly, glyphosate free. That's why I got it. And I was like, you know what, it's not worth it. I don't want the container. It's plastic, it's pollution, it has aluminum, 5% aluminum in that container. So I figured just keep it clean, keep it pure, your taste buds improve, your energy is good, you're on the sleep. If you set your circadian rhythms right, which is wake up, sun, see the sun, get a little melanin going, very important. You can get a lot of information on melanin from Jack Kruse. Your sleep will be amazing. A little bit of progesterone actually knocks me out maybe too much, where I'm sleeping 9 hours but I also have really good dreams. I like to filter all my mental garbage during the night, and that's what a lot of dreams are. It just filters things. Some dreams are a little more deep, psychological. Some are maybe talking with your higher self or getting some guidance maybe, etc. But a lot of it is just cleaning the mind. The way your body is detoxing, the mind also wants to detox all the garbage, all the stuff that bothered you. All right, ask me questions, because I don't need to make this any longer, but I think I touched base with you, and I told you I answered your amazing email, and also kind of explained some things that I'm up to and that work for me. Namaste. All right, so that is the red light I was telling you about. Hold on. All right, so here is that light with the red tone. You see, it's just blue light free. Now it is daytime, but that's the tone. It's blue light free. It's very it's non-disturbing to the circadian rhythms and to the melatonin production at night, so it's pretty useful, kind of as a nightstand by your bed. Orange is a little brighter. You can even read on orange or yellow. They have just a touch of blue in them in the spectrum, but red is blue light free, and this one is flicker free. So it really helps. So I wanted to add kind of like a conclusion I forgot to outline. Is I'll post this either at the end of the video or somewhere in between, but I don't technically go in a eating window of 4 hours anymore. However, I still have one main meal of fruit and salad. The salad can be with avocados or with tofu or with beans, so it's kind of vegetables and other stuff, but I don't necessarily completely fast the way I used to. Sometimes I would, but most of the time if I'm at home, I don't. I can't quite speak to whether it is good for perimenopause or menopause, because I, without planning it, am not fasting to the degree I used to. I never really fasted calorie free, because for it to be considered a fast, which I am finding sourdough on my fingers because I just shaved the bread. I never really fasted or ate in any form of like a very regimented way. So in general, that is my flow. I kind of can't be too strict about things, otherwise I start feeling limited. But my diet is okay, so I guess you could say I eat in the afternoon and in the evening, so that's a big window. So I don't have a massively large window, maybe until 12, when I don't, from like say 9 in the evening to 12 at noon. Maybe I don't eat a lot, but I still have that cocoa with the coconut butter, but technically maybe fat won't be too distant. But then I have honey. So no, I guess I don't necessarily go calorie free, but I just don't have like a big meal that requires digestion. I usually have things that actually are pretty easy on the digestion, that are not very challenging. I kind of find that to be more important, so to rest and all of that. So yeah, that is it. So what I would have, I go through different periods. Like sometimes I like tahini. I would just have tahini. When I get sick of sweet flavors, I'll have tahini, peanut butter. Keep in mind, I'm on the go. Like I'm not sitting down for a meal. We're living for somewhere. I'm farming. I'm doing something like planting, etc. I'm wearing a hat and boots, etc. It's not like a big sit-down meal or a sit-down anything. So I'll have tahini, or maybe I'll have tahini with my tea. At some point I was craving tahini. I had a bunch of peanut butter for a while, chocolate balls, tofu maybe, stuff like this. It just varies, because like after I had made a few batches of the balls that I mentioned, I couldn't even look at them. Like I was just not into at all a sweet flavor. And then I would buy sometimes some certain like what are they called, like energy squares or something. I would have those sometimes, hazelnuts for a while. So it would be something like that, and it just kind of varies. It's nothing in particular. It's what I'm in the mood for. It's not something like it's strategic. It's something that I'm in the mood for. That's just about what it is during the day. And then at night it's a little, it's more like a actual dinner. I don't necessarily think that it's bad to fast for perimenopausal women, but I do think that if it puts you in a kind of like a cortisol state, like a stressed out state, then it's not beneficial to you. So I don't feel like there are hardcore rules about what to eat, when to eat, how to eat. It's just more about you intuiting for yourself. And some people do really well with guidelines from other people, and some people have to figure it out for themselves. Typically for me, it's the second. I just have to do my own thing. Sometimes I share it, oftentimes I try not to share it because I know it's not going to work for other people. Or someone will say, well, that's rabbit food, like how can you even function on that? And I truly don't, but I don't want to say that you will, because you may not. It's really dependent on your climate, on your digestive type, on your dosha, for example, in Ayurvedic medicine. I tend to really do well on more cooling stuff, so raw makes more sense for me, but it doesn't make a lot of sense for someone that's Vata, someone that has circulation issues, poor digestion, low digestive fire, etc. Now, fruit and vegetables do tend to detox and move metals out of your body, so they're pretty beneficial in many more ways than just, nutrients and water, alkalinity, blah, blah, blah. They have a lot of benefits. I swear by them for myself. I would have it no other way. And that's what I wanted to add, that I don't necessarily fast anymore, but at the same time, I know that both theories exist. Some women swear by fasting for menopausal women. I think, or perimenopausal, I think take it easy on yourself. Make sure that your body is resting, moving, sleeping, relaxing, having enjoyment. That's also important. We can't just only work or only... There has to be a balance in our routine. Focus on some form of repetitive routine that calms you down, balances you. Movement is extremely important, but that is the part that I obsessively share with you. I've shared many classes and I explain things in the classes, sometimes maybe a little too much, sometimes I maybe talk a little more, sometimes I talk less, but I do share in those classes because that's consistently where I put out my offering. But movement is extremely important. I have gotten into more somatic and more somatic, less movement is more. During breastfeeding, I found that I should not be doing too much, too high intensity. It was just not beneficial. So I didn't. It's important to not stress your body in a way that's depleting. If you feel, and you mentioned depleted, if you feel depleted, there is more nourishment that has to be had through rest, through sleep, and maybe varying a little more of the relaxing classes, a little more of the, and sunshine feels very nourishing for me, but not hot midday sun, not that. That can be stressful. More like our winter sun has been real soft and it feels so warming, so good. So things like this for your lifestyle will be something different. I can't quite say. It could be reading a book, it could be, it has to be something nourishing. It could be sitting on like a warming mat or something. I have an amethyst mat, which I'm not sure about because of the EMF, but something like that. It could be sitting in your garden, sitting on the grass, stuff like that. A little more rest. As I mentioned, progesterone really helps me with deep sleep. In general, I'm sleeping deep. Better since I quit the coffee. I have to make a video of how I quit the coffee. I was very strategic in how I quit it, and it's been good. I don't mind coffee. I think it's beneficial too. From my research, it seems beneficial to liver health, kidney health, gallbladder health, etc. But it disrupts the circadian rhythms, and the part I don't like is that it is addictive. I just don't like that part. That is what I wanted to add. Just feel your body. If you feel stressed, if you feel like something is off, your energy is not there, remodel a little, move things around a little, try to serve your body. That's why I have such soft classes lately too, so somatic, so that your inner being speaks through more and you can hear more, feel more, etc. It's really important. It's absolutely beautiful to honor the body. And yeah, so when I was breastfeeding, less. Now in my 40s, I don't know that I want that amount of output. I can every so often, I do want it, but not every day. I used to be embarrassed how much energy I had before, because I would shoot a class that was technically difficult and I would walk off of it as if it was like nothing. The espresso cups were not enough for me, the coffee cups, I just had that Aries energy. Now I can do far less, but then I'm very sustained through the day. There is no part of my day when I sit down. It's just homeschooling is very time consuming, and it's non-stop. It's like you're always doing stuff. And then with the garden, with our routine, it's really, I'm more consistent now. Maybe my energy is not as explosive, but at any time, I don't have rest days. It's every day, it's just I have my tasks. All right, so listen to your body, that's my answer. Your cravings are very important. Try to focus on whole food so you know that your cravings are not, I don't know, like just some ultra processed flavored food. That's why when you remove flavors from food, you are left with the flavor of food, and that becomes very, very nutritive. I forgot to say that like for example, I had yesterday black soybean noodles, stuff like this, sourdough. I will have I forgot, that's a big one. If I bake bread that day, which I sometimes bake once a week, sometimes twice a week, sometimes once every 2 weeks. It's just my baking schedule is not very steady, but I'll have bread that day and I'll have a few big slices. And bread is then, so big slices, a few of them. So on those days I'll have, so my thing is kind of fluid, my routine. Dinner is always set, it's the same. It's always the same per the season, but daytime kind of varies and it's more fluid. That's all I wanted to add. I'm sure I'm forgetting stuff, but if you feel depleted, nourish yourself first with rest and breath work, and really true rest. Like just sit on a hammock or whatever in the sun with a hat on or whatever, something that makes your body really go into that parasympathetic state. There is things that are really nourishing. Even some of the yoga movement classes are that. And take it from there. Take little changes. And I don't believe that we need to take radical 180 degree change, but some things need tweaking when our life is changing. I personally needed a lot of I actually had some big kind of, what would I call it? Kind of almost like journeys to let go of my old self. I've mentioned them on Instagram. It's probably again for another video because this is going to be long. But it's just to release, if we're in transition, to release certain parts of the psyche so that we can be light. Anyways, if you have questions, definitely post them, because I really prefer to be on YouTube. So part of me kind of wishes I come back to YouTube and just less Instagram, less the other stuff. It's a little more wholesome format, but anyways, post questions.